Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and joined with Hubcap. Hubby.
Hubcap.
I know. Today we are doing a dramatic horse. The big group decided they really liked this photo for our June group project. This is the sepia color of the photo. The actual color photo is right here. I am doing the darker version. This is on poplar. It's I bought a 6-foot board from Woodworkers Source down in Phoenix. Had it cut and shipped, and all the information is linked in the description. Sorry, no discount on that one for you guys, but it turned out nice and pretty. I did have to sand starting at 60 to get the saw marks off, but did that, and it's a really nice piece of wood. I have 7 more pieces that I get to use from that 6 feet based on how I had it cut. This is about 10 1/4 by 11 3/4. And I actually like the knot that's in here. It's going to be in the dark part anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Here's my pattern, and for the super toasties, I'm going to very quickly explain the pattern. I did the light blue back leg. I did it light blue, that way if you want to do the photo like the dark one here, or if you want to do the lighter photo that I uploaded into the group, that's included in it. That way you can still see it. I have 3 different colors for far back background, mid background, and front background. That's what the colors are. And where all the dots are, those are like small flower lighter colors, so just circle around them, and that way when we go to burn, we'll burn around them. As for the sticks, just burn straight over that line and do it as thick as you want to. That's all that is, to make it easier. It took me about an hour and a half to transfer the pattern, and I think it took me about 2.5 hours to draw it. Hi Robert, hi Val, Spence, Teresa. Shoot, I can just take this off. Andrea, Sonia, Shirley, Kathy, Sheila. Did I get everybody? Alrighty, there we go. Just take it off now because we don't need it. And I'm going to zoom in. We are working on the eye. The color of the wood is going to change because of my light, how the lighting is hitting the wood. And I'm also going to change the photo.
The audio is fine.
Thank you. I checked it, but thank you. I'm going to start with the 9M, and we're going to get the little spots. I do need to make sure I have both my references so that I can see what I'm doing. Now the eyelashes here, eyelashes, those are much lighter because the horse is a white horse, so it has white eyelashes. We need to take that into consideration. Oops. I also don't have a piece of poplar cut from this board or anything like it to test my heat. So I've got that cheap poplar that I bought a long time ago last year that I hated it. It smells like chemicals when you're burning it, but from testing my pen, I'm going to have to make do. What's funny is the color and the grain is not anywhere near poplar. It looks more like balsa wood. So I'm questioning that. Alrighty, so let's get in there. I'm going to put my board up, my testing scrap board. And now remember, poplar is going to burn pretty dark at a low heat. So I need to make sure I take that into consideration. I'm going to readjust the camera because always turn your board, not your body. And I can't pull off a headstand for you guys. So where you gonna go that way? The camera's wet in my way, but we'll live. Alrighty, so starting with the eye. Now make sure we get the eyelid, bottom lid separated. You can actually go higher. This is the 9M. And it does feel different than this other, my test scrap piece. I'm going to try this way. See how I like this angle while moving around the camera so I can see. Because it doesn't do any good if I can't see. So we're going to get that in there. Yeah, this definitely feels different than the other poplar, my test poplar. So we're going to get that in real quick. I'm not going the full darkness because I can always readjust. I put an X here, and that X tells me that this whole area is dark. That way I'm not taking graphite and filling the whole area in. I just put a little X in areas that are heavy dark, and that's just less to dirty up the burn. So even with, I'm at 3, and this is requiring...
Shirley wants to know if you've used poplar before.
Not this kind, no. Nope.
Sheila says that she would be tempted to trim an inch from one of the boards to use as her test.
I have thought about it, but I needed this guy to be a big piece.
I mean, it could be kind of a hassle, but you could also test on the backside.
Well, I can actually, because
But I guess it's not safe.
this is dark in here, I can actually test on the board itself.
Oh.
And I may have to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to switch over to the 18 extra small. That one carries heat differently, so it burns darker.
I would imagine if you're testing on the board, you'd have to like
Only my low settings.
make sure that you're not like focusing in one place, because it would be like really
Yeah.
weird to have all those markings there.
Like I can test up here in the top corner for my lower settings. That way, we'll give it a go.
I do that sometimes when I'm airbrushing, because airbrushing, like, you need to make sure that the spray is clean. And so I'll test off the painting if I'm using one airbrush. But sometimes if I can test it in an area that, you know, just needs paint coverage.
Yeah.
It's not crucial for details.
See, this tip is burning much hotter. So I'm trying to make sure I'm around the eyelashes and some of the hair coming down. In fact, I may have to put my hair up so it's out of my face. I'm dragging down with just the tip. Put that in there. And see, we don't have a full across the board eyelash. That's not how the horses are. What we have is...
Trish Ramsden is here.
Hey, Trish.
Not that late, Trish.
Nah, we get started. This is really dark because the horse is looking down, so we can't see the pupil. We can't see the coloring. So we're just gonna not worry about it. Now to do the actual eyelashes, I'm gonna stop doing that, and I'm gonna switch over to the 18 small. It's a thinner tip on the edge, so it makes it easier to get the hair-like structures. Alright, got a little bit of eye makeup going on here. Got some eyeliner. Horse liner. Right, still bypassing the eyelashes right here. Get that in there. Now, our wrinkles above the eye are not dark, meaning I'm not going to take the pen and do a dark line like this because it's just not as dark. The wrinkles are based off of valleys and hills. So in your valley it's darker, and then your hill has the highlight. So we have to make sure we pay attention to that, especially on a light colored horse. We don't want to go too heavy because overall our shadow is not that heavy. It's not really that dark. It's dark when we get down to the mouth with those wrinkles, so those are a little bit different. Excuse me. So I'm switching over to the 18S. If I actually turn it on. It helps with the pin on. Doesn't burn very well with it off. Alrighty. Yeah, I had thought about trimming it about an inch off one of the boards. Especially since I bought new saw blades. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. They're so pretty at the size they are. So I'm just going to have to adjust. Yeah, so now this pin needs more heat.
Of course.
Layla's being a brat.
She keeps it up, I'll go get her.
Alright. Alrighty. So, for the eyelashes, I'm going to turn this pin on its side and make very quick strokes following the direction of the lashes. And the purpose of this is to get them thin. We can always put highlights later, but we do see some lash in between. I'm going to turn my board a little bit for this one. This one's still on. I'm just using the edge. Some areas darker. And then above, where we've got some more. This is like the base of the eyelashes. I'm tapping very quickly just to get some of that burn down, and then it comes down. So I'm moving very quickly just to the tip. Get the shape right. Bring that down. Once I have the rest of the burn in, it will look more white. But right now, because we don't have a lot going on around it, it makes it look darker. So we got this bottom. Again, just using my edge. This edge on this tip and the 18M are so wonderfully thin. These are what I use for hair and fur. Alright, let's get that in there. I've got that pretty thick, so I can actually bring this line down. To thicken it up. Bring that one up a little bit. There we go. Now we have, let's do this one. I gotta scooch up. I'm like too far from the wood. Alright, so we got this part goes actually up. We have a hair that's coming down from the forehead, but where it's lighter in the hair and then the background hair is lighter, we're actually going to lose the visual on that hair until it comes back and down into a darker area. So you got to take that into consideration. Same with some of this. Some of the hair is darker, so it's going to blend more. Now let's go ahead. We have roughness on the lid. It's almost like a polka dot. And that's just the texture of the pores for the skin. So I'm just using the tip and dotting. I can always go back later and darken that, but now I know where it's at. Let's see here. We actually have some eye here.
Shirley wants to know, what temperature setting are you using?
Right now I'm at 2.5. Just remember, all wood burns differently. And that's why the scrap. So if you're burning on birch, you will need a higher setting to go darker. Because birch burns differently. There we go. Just trying to get separate these hairs down. Alrighty, so our wrinkles right here. Now for the Super Toasties, I uploaded a pattern, an outline of the pattern with the shadows quickly laid down for them to see. I did not transfer the shadows, so I have to find. This is a dark shadow coming down. Now the shadows need to follow the direction of the hair, or it's not going to feel right, meaning your strokes. So you plug that in, and then I can drag down. The shadow is actually. So to do the wrinkles, I'm going. So here, this is my highest wrinkle right here. I'm going to go over it. And then I'm going to actually blend it out. Right now, I'm going to lay it in. I feel like I'm missing a wrinkle. Did I miss one in transfer? I did miss one in transfer. That happens. That's why I don't tend to pull my pattern off as quickly. But you know what? I can see where I missed it. No big deal.
Huh. Did I mention that Robert Fisher was there?
I said hi to Robert.
Okay. Sorry. Might just lose them in mind. Probably.
Probably. Because that happens. Alrighty.
Karen Smith is here, though.
Hey, Karen. Yeah, see here. Just to the side. Pull some of these wrinkles over.
Oh, no. Okay.
Can't mention somebody twice.
Try not to.
Can't do it.
But I want to make sure I don't miss anybody either.
So right here we have some shading coming down. So that we have the wrinkle that's right here. And I'm trying not to make it a harsh line. And then we have the hair. And then doing this, it kind of blends it out. Yeah, it's going to be curious for me to see how the varnish looks once this is all burned, and see how the green and the poplar stands out. Alright, get those wrinkles in. I'm going to turn. Yeah, still on the board. Still on the camera. We're going to thicken this line out. I'm going to give him some nice eyeliner. But then we have shading right here. I'm just using the tip, and I'm moving very quickly. And I'm just going to tap in some more of those textures. This is why it's good to have several angles of your subject printed out. Makes it easier to see and find things. Now remember, because I'm burning over graphite right now, it's going to look dirtier. And then once I can clean off the graphite, it'll look better. Alright, so we got the line that comes up here. Thicker. This is all lighter. Except for one spot. I went a little too dark. That's alright. And then our shadow is coming down. But here's the thing. Our fur is not. I was going in the wrong direction. Turn this. I'm using the top half of the pen. And I'm just dragging down. I can go back and fix the shadow later. But we need to follow the direction of this fur, this hair. And right now it is not as dark as it's going to be. I'm just blocking in. Because if I don't go full dark, then I have a lot of more area to adjust. Does it take more time? Yes. But do I think it looks better? Yes. So that is darker. There we go. Yes.
Daniel says, I find that when I burn over the graphite, it looks darker than it actually is.
Yep.
When I remove the graphite, it needs to be darkened. Is that what you mean by dirtier?
That and the color of the burn can change, and it looks. I'm trying to think of the best way. You don't have as bright of a burn. It looks dirty. It looks like a little bit of dirt you burned over a little bit of dirt, because the graphite affects the color of the burn. But then once you remove it, if you haven't burned too hot, then yes, it looks much better, much brighter. It's more muted. Again, follow the direction of the fur. I know this is not dark right now, but we will get it dark. We will get it dark. And I'll keep adjusting. The lightness. It looks like I missed a bit of area, but I can fix it. I'm kind of missing because we've got the bottom lid, and then we've got a little bit of the white of the eye showing above that, and that goes right there, but I missed it on transfer. So I'll go back and fix that. So this is going to get a lot darker, actually. And this is where I'll lay in all the direction, and detail will come later. And then I'm going to have to burn over that and smooth it out. Alright, so right here, it looks kind of dirty. It's not as pretty as it could be. I'm going to make it smaller. Let's see if I can show it, or if it's going to take. So the burn starts to brighten up. It also can erase a little bit of the burn. That could be another reason why. Let's see if I can get it. But because I burn so light in general, it doesn't show as much. See here. I don't know if you can tell a difference, to be honest. Put that up there. So in the photo, it is a lot darker on the shadow, but I need to get the fur texture down a little bit. That way when I burn over it, it'll kind of show through, almost like if you're using paint and the bottom layer of paint shows through the next layer. That transparency, there's transparency to burning. And that's where the graphite shows. Transparency.
Shirley asks, so if you burn lightly over the graphite, you can erase the graphite from under the burn?
Yeah. If you go heavier, it's harder to erase. But then it'll also allow you to see if you're having a hard time getting Now, carbon, no. Carbon, once you burn over it, it is staying put. I don't care how much you sand or erase or whatnot. That carbon is staying put because it is petroleum based and wax based. And so when you apply heat with your pen, it actually melts the petroleum and the wax into the wood, and that's why you can't remove it.
So it like heat sets it almost.
Yep, it heat sets it.
Huh. And interesting to me because like graphite, because it sits on top of this, you know, on the surface of the wood, and so essentially what's happening is when you're burning on it, you're burning through it. It's transferring the heat through it, and it's not actually burning the graphite. So like when you remove it, you're just removing the graphite.
As long as it's actual graphite.
Yeah.
But you do actually remove some of the burn that's sitting on top of the graphite. There we go. So you may have to darken it. Alright. Get that texture using the edge. Moving quickly and moving in the direction, but I'm not trying to move all even in the strokes. I am overlapping, curving in different directions, but going in the same direction as the hair. Let me look at my reference. It's a little harder to see the direction of the hair within the shadow. So I'm just going over it. And when you've got like darker hair underneath, you need to do the bottom in order to lay the top where it's lighter over it, so it looks like it's laying on top of each other. But see, we got shadow coming down here. Now this is a flower, and we will look at that later. So this is the direction of the fur, and then I'm going to go back and get the shadow, which is going a bit in a different direction because we have straight down coming down for some of the hairs from the eyelashes.
Cindy Van Nostrand is
Hi, Cindy.
peeking from work again.
Oh, we must be quiet.
That this is going to be an awesome piece.
Oh, I hope so.
No horse emoji. So she's sneaking at work, so we shouldn't shout at like, everybody look at Cindy! She's not working!
She's learning.
Yes, she is. It's making her a more productive worker.
That's right.
I'm sure of it.
Alright. So these lines right here are so I know where the shadow is. So what I'm going to do, in fact, I missed a line here. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do now that I have some fur laid in, I can always go back and change it later, fix it later. Let's see here. I'm actually going to up the heat, and we're going to start laying in the the shadow. I'm going to go ahead and go up to 3.5 on this because I do want it darker, not as dark as this, and it's the different pen. So I need to go darker. Let's see here. Pull heat off on that one and test on this one. Alrighty. So we need shadow coming down because we can see. I'm trying to move very quickly because I don't want any harsh lines, especially since I've raised the heat. Move very quickly.
Erin Smith is here.
Hey, Erin.
She says, hi all, finally able to catch a live for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so let's go darker. I'm trying to move quickly so I don't get that dreaded blob. It always happens. You slow down. So let's get darker. And while negative burning around these thinner hairs that are hanging over, move quick, move quick, move quick, move quick. Again, right now it's not going to look completely right because we don't have the area in around it. And this is going to have to go much darker. So I'm using the bottom of the pen, the full bottom. And every so often I kind of lift up on the tip, but it's such a minute move that it's hard for you guys to see. And I can always go back in and put more of the details for the fur. So I'm not gonna freak. So poplar has an interesting smell, burning wise.
I can smell it.
You can smell it or you can't?
Cannot.
Well, I'm also right up on it. Let's get darker.
A lot of times, especially when you're burning dark, I can smell the burn. In fact, like when I leave the studio and then come back, I can really smell it because
You've
I
adjusted.
adjusted. But like,
Yeah, that's good.
I would say most of the time I can't really smell it though because you're not burning that heavy.
I need to back out and see what I think of this coloring.
And we're up on 32 minutes.
Alright, people can start asking their questions. I'm going to start erasing here so I can see better. Now, I did wipe this board with denatured alcohol after sanding. Because it was rough, it was sanded 60. And then I raised the grain I wet it in order to remove the saw marks at 60. And then...
If you sleep on your side, I bet you
It's alright.
What? Uh-huh. Now I know what you're doing.
I actually
Now
don't complain.
I know what he's doing.
I was
now.
giving you a like.
Oh, did our friend show up?
No.
Oh,
But you maybe just reminded them, so
oops. All right.
I had the volume up because I was on my earbuds.
Yep.
I was checking the audio and I forgot about that.
So I will keep going the direction of the fur because in order to get the shape right, the hair lays over the muscle, and if you're going, let's see here. Oh, well, camera moved. Well, look at that. I see somebody wasn't doing their job.
What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm trying to get through these ads.
All right.
And I don't want to skip them.
So
I don't want you to get paid.
Thank you.
So you can buy me some shoes.
Oh, is that what it is? So we had to pay attention. Horse hair is fur. The fur, we're not talking the mane, we're talking the actual hair on the body. It is a shorter fur, which is what makes it nice and sleek and smooth and soft. It's because they're smooth mid-length hairs. So your strokes are going to copy that. If it was a shaggy pony, you would be doing longer strokes and kind of all over the place because they're shaggier. But this particular horse, not sure if it's an Arabian. Kind of looks like my old horse. We need to follow the muscle. So we go this way on the cheek. Actually, we'll probably talk about this next week. I'm trying to figure out how to break up the lives so that we are targeting the main areas because we got the darkening to do and whatnot. We have the mane. The mane actually is going to be pretty straightforward and easy. It's going to be people feeling overwhelmed with the background. So I think next week we'll focus on how the hair is laying on the different muscles and bone structure and veins because we see the vein popping out. So we have to take that hill into consideration. So I think we'll focus in this area down here. Plus we have to watch where we burn because we've got the grass that's behind it and in front. So we have to make sure that's laying right. Let's see here. What else? What questions?
Robert Fisher says, I've finally been able to get a Colwood Super Pro International burner, but I'm finding it difficult to get a consistent burn. I followed Colwood's instructions to fix it. Could it be the sanding?
Okay, I'm gonna keep all my other.
You want me to go through the other questions real quick?
No. Okay, let me think, Robert, because I have to. What do you say?
Shirley says, I am really enjoying your very detailed and comprehensive explanation on this piece.
Thank you.
Andrea says, me too.
Yay.
Well, Danielle says, so when you're burning the short fur / hair on the face, are you using the edge or the tip of the pen? Asking because it is a smooth fur / hair.
Actually, both. I will use the edge to get the direction of the fur, and because you can see some of the fur. And then I will go back over to shade with the flat edge of the tip. So I laid in here, and now I was going flat to blend and smooth it out. But we still see a little bit, because this is a zoomed up photo. So we do see a little bit of the hair. So I'm using both. All right, Robert. So I have finally been able to get a Colwood Super Pro International burner, and I'm finding it difficult to get a consistent burn. So when you say a consistent burn, you're talking about your tips are not staying the heat in between lifting up and them reheating. They're not staying the same temperature, or they losing heat. When you say consistent, can you give me a little bit more on that? Because if you follow their instructions, and if you're sanding your wood correctly, you shouldn't be having this issue. Now, their pens aren't, even their polished tips are not very polished. And so if you're talking consistent as in you're not getting a smooth burn, yes, it could either be your burn or it could be your pen. So you got an international burner. Could get some Optima pins and see how that goes. But I'm waiting for Robert to tell me what he means by inconsistency.
Okay.
And this, looking at this, the shadow is going to have to go way darker.
I feel like you say that every time, though.
No, it is. But
Yes.
again, I'm just blocking in. But you can see just the comparison between the photo and here, how light mine still is. I am getting used to the poplar. It is burning a little different than I was hoping. But I'll get used to it.
Kathy Grimes says, thanks again for sharing your amazing talents.
I am so glad I can help. Hopefully Robert's still here. Or he's typing a lot. And if he types like you, we're in trouble.
Hey, those are pinpoint strikes on the keyboard, alright? I'm accurate. Might not be fast, but it's dependable.
Huh?
Might not be fast, but it's dependable.
For who? You?
For me.
Oh, God.
For the world.
For the world. I'm actually going, while we're waiting for Robert.
Robert says, when
there
the
we go.
temperature is at 2, I get a light brown burn followed by a darker brown. Well, that's weird. If anything, it should be getting lighter.
Light brown followed by a darker brown.
That could be a temperature fluctuation.
Yeah, but what kind of wood? Because all wood burns differently. He's using international, so if I had to guess, linden, maybe. So it's going from a light brown burn followed by a darker burn. Now, it could be European control, meaning you're moving really, really quick when you first touch down, and then you're starting to slow down, so that will darken. Let's see here. See, light brown burn followed by darker burn, that's not your wood. That's not going to be your sanding wood.
Is it possible that there's an electrical fluctuation? If so, how would he?
It could. You need to contact Colwood.
Well, I mean,
There's
like,
nothing I can do about
in
that.
the actual voltage that where he's burning at. Like, you remember, like, we had a problem here in the studio.
How do you? No, we didn't. That was my tip.
Oh.
How do you have your burner plugged in? Meaning, you said it's an international.
He burns on birch, by the way.
Birch. Oh, okay. International burner. So we're looking at 220, 240. Are you plugging directly into the wall, since they do have a 220-240 unit, or are you using a step down or step up voltage plug thingy? I don't know what it's called. Because if you're plugged into that, that could cause you a problem. 400. So wood's fine, grit's fine, it's not your wood. I checked to see how you have it plugged into your wall. Because international is 220-240. And if you've got it plugged in, since you're not using their 110 volt, you don't need the step up in order to plug in. Or yes, you do need to clean tips. Oh yes, that's another good one. Thank you, Kathy. So check how you've got it plugged in, directly into the wall. So it ain't that. Clean tips. Thank you, Kathy. It's always so hard trying to do it. Because if your tips aren't clean, they're not going to burn right. They're not going to carry the heat right. Which is why it's important to clean your pins, but not the way Colwood tells you to clean the pins.
Well, how would you know which way to clean the pins?
How would I know which way to clean the pins?
No, how would someone know?
It's in Colwood's instructions. They just tell you wrong.
Well, that's what I'm asking. How do they clean it right?
With aluminum oxide and a
video?
strop. Of course, I have a video.
Okay.
And a blog post.
Okay.
Got them both.
That's what I was getting at. I was trying to get it around the side
And
creatively. But you kept
And I
blocking
posted
me.
a short
Kept
on
blocking me.
I posted a short here on YouTube of very quickly cleaning your tips. So it's either clean tips or bottom line, you need to contact Colwood because they're the ones who will be able to troubleshoot and walk you through to see what's going on. Because it may be that the burner has to be sent back. It is under warranty if you just got it recently. It should be under warranty. You may have to send it back. The best thing would be to contact Colwood at this point. We've gone through all the basics. It's not your wood. If you're cleaning your pins, it's not clean before and after burning, and use the info. Oh, thank you, Robert. Okay, well then I would contact Colwood. I don't want to tell you wrong. You're plugging into the wall. You're cleaning your tips. You're sanding your wood. It's on Colwood. That is all the basic. I mean, can you think of any other troubleshooting?
I mean,
basic as in that I've discussed before.
If there's a material defect somewhere, like maybe there's a problem with the wire, or not the wire, but the cord for the pin.
Fixed tip or interchangeable tips. That does make a difference.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe there's
fixed tips or interchangeable.
Maybe there's a connection somewhere that's not consistent, that's not tight enough, so that.
Well, their cords are actually screwed into the back of the wood burner base.
Okay.
So you're not plugging in and out of that cord of the burner itself. The only connection you're making is the pin plugged into the wire, the cord, and if it's an interchangeable pin, that.
I would still check that connection, and then also.
Oh well, yes. Make sure it's tight and secure.
Is your unit making noise?
Well, they will make noise. I
know,
use both.
But you remember that time that we're using? I forget whichever. Because generally yours is quiet, but like when you hear one that's making like a humming noise, or if you hear some noise and it alternates, it's like, you know.
Well, yes, if it's not a consistent hum.
If it's not consistent, you know.
I mean, because listen.
Then you could have a connection issue somewhere in the unit or in one of the unit connections. So.
There is a slight hum on the Optima, but it's so quiet.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
But I can. If you can
but we've
hear.
had one and
I know. I don't remember what.
I've used like
brand.
Transformers and stuff because I've lived overseas, and like occasionally you get a transformer with loose connection, and it'll heat up and the metal will expand, and that'll cause it to change its connection, and so you'll hear like this sort of metallic humming, rattling noise, and that's an indicator that the connection's not so great.
Let's see here.
And yeah, and it, like if your cord is heating up too, like that could be an indication of, you know,
of course
some resistance that's building up.
I'm gonna check something.
Robert says, problem with interchangeable nib. It makes a low humming.
Alright. Now this Coldwood pin's being plugged into an Optima. So
The nib makes the humming? Because it shouldn't be,
no,
right?
This is an interchangeable pin. Coldwood. I'm going to put it on 5 just to... And we'll see if there's any humming. I've never noticed it, but I haven't burned with my Coldwood in 2 years now.
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, if the,
2.5 years.
If the nib itself is making humming, that's a connection issue in the actual pin. And then that could potentially also be unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It means that the electricity is arcing.
Something's not connecting right.
Which,
Alright,
confirmation of that is your pin would be getting warmer than normal.
Okay. It's hot, so I'm trying to... Yeah, I'm not hearing a humming on this
Okay,
pin.
he says the machine unit hums, not the nib.
Oh. Alright. So not that.
Hmm. Is the
Wait a minute, they do...
Is the
Can
hum?
you reach mine up there?
Where?
It's right there.
What?
My Coldwood.
Okay. Yeah.
Might as well, I mean, bottom line, the answer is going to be contact Coldwood, but I'm curious at this point.
So if the hum is intermittent, though,
Then something's not
then
connecting
something's
right.
not right, because it should be a consistent hum.
Yep. And is it, you're using the Super Bowl, is it on the heavy duty side or light duty side? Alright. This guy hasn't been out in a while. Here you go.
Where do you want me to plug it in?
Just right there.
Right here. Are you ready for it to be plugged in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
In other words, it's not going to like...
Nope.
Okay. I also have to check, because I had an instance where I did shock myself.
Nope. Alrighty. So if he tells me
Not
heavy
doing
duty
pyrography.
or...
I was overseas. It was a different thing. Let me tell you, 220. You don't want to mess. Well, no, was it 220 or is that 110? No, that was 220.
Mine. So this is the heavy duty side, and we'll see. I'm actually gonna put this tip in a holder, so I'm not burning myself. I'll put it on 5. We'll see.
I'm not hearing anything.
It's just starting up. Give us a second.
He says
Yeah, I'm on the heavy duty side.
heavy duty side. The other side is okay.
Do you have a setting that you're using a lot? Look at that. We also do troubleshooting.
It's really not the focus. But
No, it's not. And we can tell the pin's on because the tip is turning red. Oh, yeah, that's on.
plenty hot.
What's a 5?
I don't know if they can see that. I don't know. They couldn't see that.
So this is the base.
And it's on. And it's not humming.
So no humming. Switch over to the... Oh, I'm not plugged into the detail side. So no, I am not getting any humming on my machine, so I would contact them. Alrighty. Yeah, that's going to be your best bet. To email them, I'm pretty sure they're on Facebook. Maybe they use Messenger so you can actually talk to them on the phone and go through the troubleshooting.
Between 2 and 4 normally. That's interesting.
Put it on 3. Let's see. And I only have interchangeable tips for Coldwood.
That was my phone. I'm not hearing anything.
I'm not hearing anything. So I know it could have been in transport. Things got loosened in the base. Maybe a connection got a little too loose in the base, and so you're having this issue. More than likely, that's probably what it is something happened in shipping. Maybe it wasn't as firmly packed as it needed to be, or it could have been packed, but just something happened in shipping it. It did that. I am not having any humming, any buzz from the base. The only base I've ever had a lot of buzz from is from Razor Tip. So, all the other ones have been quiet. Now, do we got anything on the horse? Because if not, I'm hungry. Hey, food.
Pretty in depth.
Pretty in depth. I hope that helped, Robert. I'm sorry I couldn't nail it down for you. Thank you for answering all the questions. Definitely contact Razor Tip. Or, I'm sorry, Coalwood. Razor Tip was the last burner I said. So that's why. It was on the head.
Gotcha.
It was on the head. And if you can't get it nailed down, I say go with an Optima. You won't have this problem. Alrighty. But it sucks because he just got his wire tip.
I know.
And he wants to burn. And I know that feeling. No, Robert, it is not you. You are not doing anything wrong. No, it is not you. So next week, we will do the lips. Let me back off so we can see the color of the wood with the burn. We will do the lips and the cheek next week. Alrighty. And I gotta figure out what to do for the super toasties. We got 2 lives we gotta get done this month.
Yep.
We'll see what the supers want.
Okay.
And I miss Burl.
I know.
Alrighty, guys. Oh, say it with me. You almost let me forget.
I wasn't going to. You caught it before I
let me forget.
got to my prompting you.
Say it with me. You're awesome.
With me. Oh.
You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist.
Stop it.
Happy burning, guys. Bye. Food.
Okay.
Hold on.